All right. We've got a bunch of people here. We've got 13 people here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for logging in. This should be our last virtual meeting of this season. And we'll see if we continue something like this next year. I know it makes it easy on everybody as far as getting together. Maybe we can do a blend of virtual and in-person meetings next year. But the regular season has come to an end, and we're now into playoff time for the D1. That means they're just having 4 games this Saturday. They're calling it the Super 8 quarterfinals. That's Saturday in Lafayette. Then the following weekend up in Shreveport on Saturday and Sunday are the semifinals and finals. And then the D2 division, the second division, they're having a little playoff run this week with semifinals Friday and the championship game, I believe, Saturday. And that's all at Central, right, Dustin?
That is
that
correct.
At Central? That's at Central. Before we start with the quiz, I wanted to tell you that the other thing that we're doing, as you know, from a couple of years ago, we started a little awards banquet at the end of the season, and we're going to do that again on May the 23rd. And it's probably going to be at that state park in Madisonville that I sent you all the information about sometime Sunday afternoon. We haven't firmed up all those plans. But the board chose to give add an award to our list of awards that we give for coaches sportsmanship award, and to maybe encourage the coaches to be gentlemen and civil with us and not riot us, and as everybody I'm sure has experienced in one fashion or the other. So to that end, I think what I will do is just keep that in mind. I'll probably send out an email to everybody. If you have a coach that, looking back over this past season, you realize, hey, man, that coach was a real gentleman. He had a smile on his face. He was friendly, and he did not, if he asked questions, he was civil about it. He wasn't super angry and didn't pull a blue veiner on me. Be thinking if you have somebody that you think is fitting for that award, that'll come from LOLA. And by award, we're not talking about a cash prize or anything. We're talking about a beer stein with some engraving on it, a memento showing them our appreciation of their sideline demeanor. So I'll probably send out an email in the next week or two, but be thinking about that. If you have a coach that you would nominate for a sportsmanship award based on the demeanor that you witnessed during this season. That's what I wanted to talk about before we jumped into the quiz. Dustin, do you want to talk about anything about the coming week or weekend of games?
Yes. So there's a couple of things I want to announce. First of all, what I wanted to do was announce at this time the officials who have been selected to work the Final Four in both Division II and Division I, as well as the crews that have been selected to work the championship games in both Division II and Division I. So, with that being said, in Division II, the officials who have been chosen to work the Final Four games have been on one crew, myself, along with Chris Forcade and Blake Wilson. And the second semifinal game will be officiated by David Ratner, Jay Mayfield, and Casey McDonald. In the Division II state championship game, it will be officiated by referee David Ratner, umpire Chris Forcade, and field judge Blake Wilson. So, congratulations to those guys for being selected on the first Division II state championship crew. In the Division I, on our first semifinal game, we have myself along with Zach Favreau, Dr. Bill Gallman, and the chief bench official is going to be Eric Sella. The second semifinal will be led by Colonel Stephen Luxian, David Ratner and Boyd Guy, with the chief bench official Isaiah Curry. And for this year's Division One state championship, our crew is going to be referee Steve Luxian, umpire is going to be David Ratner, field judge is going to be Boyd Guy, and our CBO chief bench official is going to be Isaiah Curry. So congratulations to all the guys who have been chosen for the Final Four in both Division One and Division Two. Just a couple of things about um, each site. I haven't heard any logistics from any of the D2 coaches as far as um, what are they going to have for the officials, as far as they're going to have a specific area for us. I will be speaking with the league commissioners on in those respective areas, as well as the athletic director with Central High School, because she's probably going to know more than any of those other guys, anyways. But as soon as I get all that information from them, I'll relay it on to the officials that are involved. For the Super 8 quarterfinals this weekend, St. Thomas More is going to be hosting, and they're going to do just as they have done in the past when they have hosted the Final Four, and that is they're going to have a specific area, likely on the team side of the field, away from the fans, away from everybody else in that corner of the field. They'll probably have a tent set up with some chairs, maybe a table or two. And if that's where you ours, the referees for each game, would like to have your pre-games, it'd be all by all means have your pre-games there or have it outside in the parking lot, whatever you'd like to do. One thing's for sure that I would like to happen is when we get to the gate where we're going to step into the facility, I would like for us to be dressed. So if you want to get dressed in the parking lot, or if you want to show up dressed, however you decide to do it, when you come on the site, please be in full uniform, ready to go. As far as payments are concerned, the LHSLL and the sites are deciding how they're going to distribute the funds. I have the invoice made, and all I'm waiting on is who to send them to. The way it has worked in the past with Final Four championship weekend, the LHSLL has paid the game fees and travel fees for the officials, and the site, the site hosting the tournament, the championships, were comping the hotel rooms for officials that needed it. They're still working those kinks out, and like again, I said, as soon as I know, you will know. But we will get paid, and we will have hotels provided for us. And that's all the information I have right now. But again, congratulations to all the officials that have been selected. You guys done a great job this year. You've all done a great job up to this point. Now I expect a better job going forward.
All right. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Just type away in the chat room. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump into that quiz, Dustin. Can you share your screen and pull that up?
I can. Real quick, one more thing that I wanted to pull up. You know what? I'll just wait for that. I'll deal with that on another time. We'll go ahead and get into the quiz. I was going to talk specifically about some chief bench official duties, but we'll save that for a different time. Let me share my screen here. Sorry. All right. I think it was. How's that? Is that good? Did it need to go bigger?
That looks good to me. I'm seeing a big screen, and I can read that fine. Casey said that's good, so it must be good.
I can't see the chat box. All I can see is my question. So if I need to do anything, y'all just let me know.
I'll watch the chat.
Okay, good deal. So A1 legally pushes B1 out of bounds. B2 passes to B1, who is airborne while jumping back into the field of play. B1 catches the pass before landing in bounds. What is this ruling? The correct answer for this question is C. B1 is considered to be out of bounds. We're going to award the ball to Team A. Okay, so B1 is out of bounds. So he is airborne, jumping back into the field of play. So it's kind of one of those things, you are where you were. He was out of bounds. He jumps in bounds. He is not considered to be in bounds until he legally or physically steps onto the field of play inside the boundary lines. So the correct answer for number one is C. I'm getting a lot of
Yeah, I'm hearing noise.
feedback. There, it went away. Number two, A2 receives a second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for repeatedly committing the same technical foul. What is this ruling? The correct answer for number two is B. Committing the same technical foul repeatedly is a 1 minute releasable unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So we have no ejection involved. So tricky one there, but just got to keep in mind that repeatedly
let's
committing
walk
the
through
same
there.
technical foul is not a. Go ahead.
It's not unreleasable, right? There are, I think, 4 now releasable unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Let's go through what the other 3 are. One of them is the coach on the field, right? That was added just a couple of years ago. The coach on the sideline, and you bump into him. That's a 1 minute unsportsmanlike releasable. Another one is the second time that a defensive player plays like goalie. I guess that would be repeatedly committing the same technical foul, but it's just on the second time the second time a defender jumps into the crease to play goalie. The second time, that's going to be a flag down, immediate whistle, and that's a 1 minute releasable unsportsmanlike conduct. And the fourth one is one that I've don't even know what they're talking about, is entering the field of play not equipped or ready to go, or maybe running onto the field of play without your helmet on or without your gloves on. I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about, but that's another weird one. But there are a couple of them that are non-releasable. And that comes into play when we get to question number 10. We'll talk about that some more when we get to question number 10.
Is there anything in the chat?
Nope. 73% of us got that one right, and 100% of everybody got the first one right.
Okay.
So let's look at number 3.
So I'll just go ahead and read them all real quick. Throwing a cross at a ball and at a player or at game personnel, be a coach who is in the field of play and obstructs play, repeatedly commit the same technical foul. As a player deliberately fail to return immediately to the field after leaving the field of play while legally in the game. And the last one is, as a substitute, deliberately fail to comply with the rules for entering the field of play. All items above are 1 to 3 minute releasable penalties in all cases.
Bill.
Yeah, we'll correct Dustin when we get to number 10.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Number 3. I actually have that PowerPoint up, by the way. During play, B1 slashes A1, flag down. A1 throws the ball out of bounds, and the whistle blows to suspend play. During the dead ball, A1 commits a conduct foul. Then A2 commits a conduct foul. The correct enforcement. Now let's take this play step by step. Okay. When B1 slashes, We have a flag down, slow whistle. Out of bounds, goodies, stops at play. Okay. So during this dead ball, this is not simultaneous fouls. A1 commits a conduct foul. So when B slashes, that's giving A1 possession. So when A commits a conduct foul during a dead ball, that is simply a change of possession. So now when A1 commits the conduct foul, turnover, B is granted possession of the ball. Now with B in possession or entitled to possession before we restart play, A2 is going to commit a conduct foul. So therefore, by rule, A2 is now going to serve this particular penalty. So on number 3, the correct answer choice would be A. B1 serves 1 minute, with the first 30 seconds being non-releasable because that is the greatest common time in penalties being served. A1 serves no time because it was simply a change of possession, and then A2 serves 30 seconds, which that time is going to be considered non-releasable as well. I just read that. And then Team B is awarded possession of the ball.
I have a question about that, and it's always a question I've never had answered, never asked. When you are calling a conduct foul, especially if it's a dead ball foul, my instinct is to throw a flag because conduct foul you want rather than. But if you knew that it was just going to turn it over, would you still throw your flag and say conduct blue? Or do you not throw the flag and you're supposed to be aware of the situation and say conduct turnover? And
Boyd,
then
you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong, Boyd. It's not a flag because it's actually an inadvertent flag. The flag indicates time served,
right,
right?
right.
So it is not a perfect world, but I do it all the time too, Bill. Same thing. You're going to have to wave off the flag because it's just a simple term.
Well, as
So
far as
I actually had that happen.
communicating with everybody, um, I don't know that I've, in a tense situation, have that situation awareness to know, okay, A's getting the ball. Oh, A just did a conduct. I'm not going to throw my flag. No, I'm going to let everybody know I got something by throwing that laundry. And then,
We'll
but
forgive you.
but
We'll forgive you.
I know it's supposed to be no flag, but boy, my brain's not that quick to figure that out
Either.
where we are.
Because usually the guy's mouthing off and it kind of makes you angry too.
And you want to throw a flag, right? Yeah, right.
I actually had that happen twice after consecutive goals. So the first play, um, a team A scores, then team B yells at team A, "Why don't you go win a faceoff?" And so I called a conduct penalty right there. Except I went towards the table and I made the call with my one arm conduct foul on team B. It's going to be team A's possession. And I just made sure that everybody on the field knew what the proper penalty administration was going to be. And we went on from there. I didn't throw my flag. Nobody threw a flag, and we went on.
Okay.
After that, so
Yeah, the other issue I have with it is the signal for the conduct foul, especially if you're on the far side and you call a conduct foul. It looks a lot like you're
yeah.
pointing rather than half of a unsportsmanlike. I don't have a problem if it's during, like I had one Saturday night. I was on the far side, and the clearing player ran past the defender, and he turned and said, "You're too slow," to him, or he waved at him. This was St. Paul's player waved at him when he went past him, and I blew my whistle. And I did yell. I didn't throw a flag because I know it was a turnover, but I'm punching my fist, yelling conduct, and then point. But that conduct foul can be tricky. I know at a Catholic High Jesuit game. Jesuit threw the ball out of bounds on the end line, so Catholic High was going to be clearing. But right after it went out of bounds, I think Jay was on the far side, and a Catholic High player had a conduct foul on him. Now, Jay was looking at the stuff in front of him. I'm on the other side. I got the end line, and I'm calling, out it's White's ball, and then I see a flag over there, and Jay tells me it's a conduct foul on White. And I said, okay, well, this could be a turnover. We're going to give it back to Jet. We're going to give it back to Blue. And it just can be difficult to keep straight what the situation is when you see the conduct or encounter the conduct. And I cut a lot of slack to anybody who throws a flag for a dead ball conduct flat.
This is just one of those situations where it's good to stop play and then make sure both benches are aware of what just happened. It's an inverted flag. We do have conduct. It's just a change of possession. Give the teams time to do the full substitution and move on.
All right.
We're obviously confused too, right?
Right. Yeah, it happens.
Moving on to number 4, and before I even go over this question, I will tell you that one, this came straight out of the rule book. However, there were a couple of words that were removed just to where I avoided having an A or B situation. Now, by removing A from the situation and just leaving it as a clear sentence with no A or B in the sentence, there are some terms that should have been added to this question. And I'll go over those in just a second here. But just the question as it reads, Team A has been warned to keep it in. Now, after recovering a shot or a pass deflected by the defense outside of the goal area, does Team A have a full 10 seconds before it shall bring the ball back into the goal area? Now, the terms that need to be added to this question is after recovering a shot that has not hit the goal, the goalie, or the goalkeeper's equipment. Because in this particular AR, this situation, it has after recovering a shot, A, after it has hit the goal equipment, or the goalkeeper, and then it goes to B, or a pass deflected by the defense. So this question is written somewhat correctly, is just missing a few terms. So the terms are missing again, I said, are after recovering a shot that has missed the goal, missed the goalkeeper, or the goalkeeper's equipment. So number 4 is D. Yes, the stall warning continues with a full 10 seconds. Okay. So if a valid shot hits the goal, the goalkeeper, or his equipment, the stall warning is now waived off. And so if they've already established their clearing count, then we wouldn't have a new clearing count for them to get it back into the attack area. So my apologies for not adding the terms necessary to validate D being the correct answer. But nonetheless, for this question, number 4 is D.
I don't know that I've ever seen in a high school game a stall warning put on. The team takes a valid shot that ricochets out. They recover, and we tell them the stall is off and let them work it around again for another 45 seconds or so. I can't remember having that. But if that ever does happen, the stall warning is off. You don't have to tell them to get it in, keep it in. Only when it looks to you like they are continuing to stall. They kind of reset your stall meter if they make a good valid shot that doesn't go in and it ricochets out of the box and they get it. They regain possession.
Okay, so this one's going to be a fun one here. This is dealing with simultaneous fouls. We'll read this slowly. We're going to work it step by step. In Team A's offensive half of the field, B1 slashes A1 who is in possession of the ball. During the FDSW, A2 sets up for a screen for A1 with his feet spread significantly wider and shoulder width apart. Now this is A2 who has his feet shoulder width or significantly wider than shoulder width apart, not A1. B2, who is in pursuit of A1, realizes that he is about to be screened by A2. Simultaneously, B2 cross-checks A2 in the neck as he is set up in an illegal screen position. So A2 is standing with his feet wider than shoulder width apart, and B2 cross checks him in the neck. Okay. During the dead ball, A2 retaliates by aggressively shoving B2 in the back. What is the complete ruling? Who is serving penalty time? And which team gets possession? And where is the restart going to be? Okay. So we're going to start this by saying that the correct answer is B, and we're going to discuss how this is correct. Okay. B1 slashes, flag down, solo whistle. So that's our first flag. At this point, A1 is entitled to possession, or Team A is entitled to possession. Then, when A2 sets up in the illegal screen, as soon as B2 applies the cross check to the neck of his opponent, that's going to kill the play right there. That's going to stop play for a subsequent foul. Now, at this point, when we have simultaneous fouls, if the fouls are technical, then we have no time being served. Okay. Then, and this is during the flag down, slow whistle. So the illegal screen by B is basically irrelevant in this situation. There's no time being served by A2 for this illegal screening. So when B2 cross checks A2 in the neck, B2 is going to serve 2 minutes non-releasable. Then, during the dead ball, A2 is going to retaliate. So let's talk about before A2 retaliates, okay? At this point, we have B slashing and then B2 cross-checking. So Team A is entitled to possession right here, okay? So we don't have simultaneous fouls at this point, but we do have multiple fouls at this point. Now, when A2 commits this retaliation by aggressively shoving B2 in the back, there goes your third flag, or your hat if you don't have another flag for your unnecessary roughness, if you may, by A2. Okay. So during this dead ball, that means that Team B has now gained possession because of the dead ball foul that A2 has committed. The ball was in the offensive half of the field for Team A. Okay. So when B commits all the fouls, the ball's staying in the offensive half of the field. But whenever A2 commits this dead ball personal foul, Team B is going to now have possession in their offensive half of the field, free clear at the midline.
I will say one thing to what you just said, Dustin. You said we don't have simultaneous fouls. I think truly we do if you get to the definition of it, because we've got B1 with a slash, flag down, and then A2 is involved because A2 does get an illegal screen call on him the instant that B2 touches him. Okay, now
Correct.
B2 doesn't have a penalty until he touches A2 for the screen, and A2 doesn't have a penalty until B2 touches him. So those you truly cannot tell which came first because one requires the other. So I think it's a weird situation where there's simultaneous fouls where there's actually three penalties. There's one on B1, one on B2, and one on A2. Now, the simultaneous rule wording, one of the little things in there is that the team being awarded the ball has only committed technical fouls. They will serve no time. Right. That's why A2 does not go to the box, because there's a little disclaimer in there. It says if the team that's going to be awarded the ball only commits technical fouls, and I assume that means it could be more than one, then that team will serve. None of them have to go to the penalty box.
Right, that's 6-3-B1. So when the team is in possession or entitled to possession, that's where the first flag down, slow whistle indicates that they're entitled to possession. So then only technical fouls, no penalty time will be served by that team. Yes.
Right, and that's what we do during goodies. Okay, we have a slash. Okay, on B1 we get goodies, and then A still has the ball and he wards. Well, he's committed a foul. That's going to kill goodies. But
Right.
and it is a simultaneous foul. We don't really call it that, but it is. But he doesn't have to go because he's only committed a technical foul and he's getting the ball, so he does not have to serve time. So that's the only little issue I would take. You said we don't have simultaneous. I think we do technically, but that's why A2 does not have to go sit. He has committed an illegal screen, and that is a penalty, but he is not going to go to the box because his team was entitled to possession and they only have committed a technical.
I actually had this play happen in a collegiate game, and I incorrectly enforced it. The guy who committed the illegal screen served 30 seconds non-releasable as well.
You're probably not
But
going to get an
nonetheless,
argument.
moving on. Probably not. I didn't either. Number 6. Teammate with possession and in their offensive half of the field calls a timeout. Then Team B requests an equipment check on A1, and A1 has all of his required equipment except he is not wearing his shoulder pads, and his stick is found to be legal. So what is the ruling on this particular play? And the correct answer for number 6 is C. A1 has committed a personal foul. This is going to be a 1-minute non-releasable penalty. The ball is going to be awarded to Team B, and the ball was in A's offensive half of the field. And then, therefore, by rule, the restart is going to be at the midfield line in Team B's offensive half of the field. Let's see. Number 7. During the course of play with A1 in possession, goalkeeper B1's stick becomes broken, or any of his other mandatory equipment becomes broken or dislodged. What should the officials do? The correct answer would be B. As soon as you realize that the stick is broken or any kind of his mandatory equipment becomes broken, stop the play immediately. As soon as they notice that the problem, regardless of whether B1 is in or out of the crease. I think didn't we talk about? No, I'm not gonna mess it up here. Going on to number 8. Immediately after A1 shoots and misses OOB on inline, B1 hits him late in the chest with his shoulder. So you have a flag down for unnecessary roughness, 1 minute. A second later, A2 body checks or A2 body cross checks. A2 body cross checks.
Typo, cross checks.
In the head after the whistle. Another flag down, 2 minutes non-releasable. Then B2 throws his stick down to the ground in disgust. Conduct foul. How are these fouls administered? Okay, so the correct answer for number 8 on here is C. So B1 has the late hit. 1 minute, unnecessary roughness. Then we have the second foul on A2 for the cross check to the head. So we're going to have the 2 minutes non-releasable here. So when B1 hits late, that gives the ball to A. When A2 cross checks, that gives the ball to B. Another flag down. Then, with B having possession of the ball, he throws his stick down to the ground in disgust. So we have a conduct foul. So at this point, we simply have a change of possession because we have a B with possession committing a technical foul during a dead ball. So this could be a change of possession. So A should have the ball. And how are these fouls administered? B1 serves 1 minute and A2 serves 2 minutes. Both of them are going to be non-releasable. B2 serves no time. Award the ball to Team A at center.
I agree with Jay Mayfield. I'm going to throw that conduct foul flag every time on this one.
All right. Moving on to number 9. Oh,
And we had this.
Yeah.
Yesterday afternoon at
Sunday.
Catholic High Caddo Magnet.
Team A is playing man down and is playing keep away to burn time off of their penalty time. What is the ruling? In Federation rules, you can be uneven and still be called for stalling. Don't get it confused with the old NCAA rule where we had to be even. They no longer have that because we got a shot clock. But nonetheless, in the NFHS rule, we can be uneven and still be calling. We can put a team, give a team a stall warning, even if the goal differential is 5 or more. If they're playing keep away and they're not trying to attack the goal, lock them in. Get it in, keep it in signal. Communicate with your officials by either putting your hands in the delay signal or tapping your watch with your offhand, whatever kind of mechanic you decide to use. Should be discussed in pregame. Use that, but confer with the officials and make sure that we have a good opportunity. And one of the things that we want to make sure is that we don't give the team a cheap turnover, meaning if they're really close to the attack lines, let's not put it on at that point. That way we have a situation where they step in and step out quickly. A good time to put the stall warning on is when the ball goes below the GLE while it's inside of the attack area. Another time to put it on is if they're high above the attack area, referencing it to a football field, the 30-yard line. That way we avoid those cheap turnovers. But nonetheless, we can be in a uneven situation and still be called for stalling. They can still be called for stalling. And number 10, with time running out, defenseman A3 attempts a long high pass to his teammate who is downfield near the goal. B1 at the midfield line throws his stick high into the air, hoping to block the pass. What is the ruling? Correct answer is A here. Immediate whistle, flag down, 1 to 3 minute, non-releasable, unsportsmanlike conduct foul. The immediate whistle is because they are committing a personal foul during a loose ball. And this here, I believe this was an updated memo used in the rule interpretations PowerPoint, which I have pulled up here on our website. I'm gonna zoom in some more. This is coming straight off our website. Can y'all see my screen clearly here?
Yep.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to download this real quick. Pull this up. Page down. Where's my...
If you're lazy and don't like to read, you can also watch the 2021 Boys NFHS Rules Interpretation webinar video, and it's at the 8 minutes 46 second mark is when they talk about that being non-releasable. This
rule interpretation PowerPoint is on our LALaxRevs.com website. Rule 510 and 652, throwing across, unsportsmanlike versus a technical foul. You can see here that it is an unsportsmanlike foul for throwing across at the ball, at a player, or other game personnel. The penalty is a 1, 2, or 3 minutes non-releasable foul. There's an error in the rulebook on page 64, 5-10E. Foul is non-releasable. If you look, and I'll just pull it up for reference sake here. That's what I was reading earlier whenever I was reading the items that are releasable penalties in all cases, because there was a rule change for 2020 that throwing across at the ball or at a player or other game personnel would have resulted in a releasable penalty. So they had to make the change. Instead of making a whole bunch of different copies of the rule book, they've decided just to send a memo out in 2020 indicating that indeed they did make an error in the rule book. Okay. So with that in mind, by rule, number 10 is A. He's throwing his cross up in an attempt to block the pass. He's throwing his cross at the ball. Immediate whistle, flag down, 1 to 3 minute, non-releasable, unsportsmanlike conduct. Boy just sent me a text because he sent me an email earlier. It's all good. All right, moving on. Bonus question here. Goalkeeper B1, seeking to stop play in an unsettled situation, intentionally breaks required equipment or drops a glove, or B, yells to the officials that his equipment is broken when he broke it intentionally in order to stop the play. What is the ruling? This question requires the deep, deep book knowledge of an NFHS rule book Zen master, and that's not me because I didn't get it right whenever I first read it. But in the rule book, it does specifically state the exact amount of time that a person shall serve or the goalie shall serve for committing this particular foul. And the correct answer for this is
In the
C.
technical foul section. The book, that's where it is, in the technical foul section. Illegal procedure.
Yeah. So in this case here, seeking to stop a play in an unsettled situation, fast breaks, stuff like he's about to get scored on. My stick's broke. Or in order to gain an advantage on his part, so where he doesn't get scored upon. So stop the play and assess a 2-minute non-releasable unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on B1.
Yeah. We were talking. There's a couple of other weird things where the rule book specifies the number of minutes you're supposed to give, and we were talking before we went live with this broadcast about a play that occurred up in Shreveport in the Bird versus Captain Shreve game. Captain Shreve is clearing the ball up the near sideline, going in front of the substitution area, and a Bird fellow subs in as his other guy subs out, and he comes out and pops the ball carrier. And if we look up that rule, it specifies that should be an unsportsmanlike conduct for a minute. But if it was intentional, if it looked intentional, they specify a 3-minute unsportsmanlike conduct. That's what's in the rule book anyway. And when you read these little weird ARs, there are some little funny things like that where, who's going to argue if the goalie, pulled his neck guard off to stop play if you gave him a minute or 3 minutes instead of 2. I don't think many people know that rule there. All right. Let's go ahead and start looking at some clips. I got video clips. I concentrated on crease play. So we're going to concentrate on crease play. But I did want to look at 2 clips first on some things that were questioned by one of the coaches, and just to show you the videos that we made and tell you about those. Let's see. Let me pull these up. Maybe find them. Here we go. Here we go. This is a game. This is St. Thomas More Catholic High. I don't know, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, Boyd and Tim and I were doing it. There's a face-off, and the wing player for St. Thomas More, number 20. By the way, he's one of their starting running backs. He's a heck of an athlete and played a heck of a game at the St. Paul's game Saturday night. But he's a football player, and he's a new lacrosse player. So he doesn't know the limits of the contact. And the St. Thomas More staff were questioning what was illegal about this and what should they teach this young man to make this a legal hit. And that's me there throwing the flag. And I can tell you that I was close to it. Um, and I heard a real loud sound of plastic popping when the contact was made. So I thought he had been hit in the head. And it also looked like, and if you look carefully, Catholic guy does not come up with the ball clean off that faced off. He actually juggles it and doesn't really get possession until he's on the 45, and he takes 2 steps to the 43 when he gets hit. So he was unaware that this was getting ready to happen. And in the real slow-mo zoomed in things, I think you maybe can see the player's head turn up and to the right. You can see the back of his head, and then I even put a little arrow on it. You can see his head gets turned. And I think it shows that there was contact to his head in this area that knocked his head up. So Boyd and I got together on it, and I was wondering, okay, he hit him in the head, and it would look to me like it was kind of defenseless. Do we want to do, is this make it 3 or 2? I was doing 3 or 2. We settled on 2. This was, I think, in the first quarter of the game, if I remember. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that hit. Then the second play that I'll pull up now, this was not long after that first one. And let me get us off of here. There we go. Is everybody just seeing full screen of that hit there?
Yeah, we've talked about this one a lot, and this is a good no call here. This is not a player who's in a defensive state. The white player, contact shoulder to shoulder. It's a big hit, but nonetheless, it's a clean hit, not a defensive player. There's no head contact. I think the official makes a good no call here. And if I'm correct, Bill, the coach for St. Thomas More was wanting to know how his hit was illegal and how was this hit not illegal. And
right.
There's really no debate here as to what's the difference between the two. I mean, if you look at the film, it clearly shows this is not a foul. This is not a foul.
I thought it was shoulder to shoulder. Of course, Boyd was right there, and he thought it was shoulder to shoulder. I think the only thing you could conceivably say was this excessively violent. I think for our level of play in a big game like this in the varsity,
no,
I think this is okay. Now, one other indication that the red player is not defenseless is in the super slow-mo. If you look at it, right before contact, he takes his left hand off of his cross to absorb some blow. He kind of and I think he just got bad leverage and might have been in the air when he got hit. That knocked him down. Matter of fact, he is kind of in mid-stride when he gets hit. That made it look worse than it probably. He popped up and he wasn't injured or anything. I just wanted to show those couple of plays.
Is playing defense for the Cougars as well. Shot goes wide.
This is St. Thomas More Newman. Some of you may have seen this. Some of you may have seen this before. And I did collect all of our crease plays and stuck them in here, but it's okay to look at them again. I think that's David Ratner running up.
That is. And so just to kind of talk about this play a little bit more, the field markings that you can clearly see on the field are the black soccer lines. And that black soccer line does indeed go through the lacrosse crease. And you can see here that before the ball crosses the goal line, Green's foot is pretty much tiptoeing that black soccer line. And so I think Radner had a great crease violation call on this play. If you look at where he's at, there are a lot of players in his view. In this case here, we can have some help from the single side official who, you can see right here, single side's probably 6 to 7 yards above GLE. And that's why we always talk about the single side official getting down there, being that 3 to 5 yards above GLE. Not to say that the official on this play is in a terrible position, but he could be in a better position to help out the lead official on this play here because there's nobody in his way of seeing what's happening around the crease, but there's more players in front of the lead making this call. So officials, we do not officiate from the single side from the 30-yard line. We officiate from the single side 3 to 5 yards above the GLE. Get your butts down there.
I do have a comment about this. When I was putting this together, another reason why this can be a no goal is if you look carefully, especially in the slow motion, does Green even touch the goalie while the goalie's got a foot in the crease? That would end the play as well.
Yeah.
And because you cannot, if that goalie has a toe in the crease, you cannot touch him. And if you do, no goal unless the ball has already in. So I think there are two reasons here why this is a good no goal call. Contact with the goalie, a goal crease privilege problem, and a crease violation.
There's definitely good crease awareness here.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to, let's see, what number was this one? 3. Here's number 4. Unfortunately, a lot of our close crease, bang crease plays are at St. Thomas More, and they don't have good crease line markings for us to see with the camera. And their camera work is not the resolution is not the best. I don't think they shoot 1080 like some of the schools. You can tell the 1080 schools from the 720 video resolution. So here's another bang call. I think that's Boyd there on the goal.
Lux, you want to take this one?
Okay. So what I see here is actually he's on the he starts on the shoulder. So I probably have nothing on the hit as he's dropping down. So I can't see the crease line. I'm saying the goal is good.
I put that arrow on there. You can see the ball is in the back of the net. Actually, before even if you were going to call a push, the ball's in right before. I mean, it's close, but it's right before the push.
Right.
No help from the single side here. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We have got to get down there.
I don't have a cursor, but you should be down, about where 8 is on the single.
Especially when we have these tight plays around the crease. This is where we make our money. I say that in my pregames. We make our money around the crease. That's where the action's happening. That's where we need to be to officiate. We cannot officiate the crease from the 30-yard line.
And it often takes two to see all this stuff. Yeah.
When that lead official drops below GLE to cover some play around the end line, we have nobody covering GLE.
Here's the full field here. Are you seeing the full field now?
Yeah.
Now I am.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Look how high he is. Yeah, he's up at the 30. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't stop or rewind these videos.
Sure.
So let's move on to
the only thing I would say, single side, you can be high when that ball first comes over the line and there's contested play high until the trail kind of gets up. But as soon as that ball starts moving down towards the goal at all, you need to get down there.
This one's tough, especially with the camera being inside the press box with that glass.
Yeah, I can't even see what we're looking at there. Yeah. No push, no crease. Let's see it again.
Taking a look.
Yeah, not bailing him out. He's in the middle of a crowd. Steps in the crease. They got it. They're moving.
Look at that single side official.
He's down there.
Doctor No. He's heading up to talk to the coach and throw him out of the game.
You know, if I give advice to any of the newer officials, man, don't be afraid to get in there close. I mean, I'm the single side, but I'm pretty close to the crease there. But there was nobody over there by me. And I just do better. It just looks better if you're in there close, I think. And
yeah,
it looked like a relatively easy play. Typical.
That was. Yeah. It was just one of our crease calls.
That player right there, that player is notorious for trying to run through people and get in those double teams.
and then complain.
So whoever's got this Catholic St. Thomas More uh, Super 8,
That's me.
just just be wary that this kid likes to do this a lot. We actually had a couple of ward calls on him this weekend. I called one, and then I think Bill called another on
Put his
Sunday.
shoulder into a guy's chest. It wasn't a
He's trying
big
to-
bull dodge, but he. I think that Boyd. What was the score of that game? Was that 10-9 or 10-8? That was a close game.
Catholic St. Thomas More right there.
10-8. Okay.
Bill, can you move us? Oh, okay, thanks. Let's check it out here.
See, this is 1080p resolution. That looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And I can see the crease too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty simple here. Pretty easy one.
The trail, that single side again is high, like you're
Right.
Yeah.
griping at. Who's the training person for Lola?
That would be me.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about this blue 6 here, the little elbow hip action here?
Yeah,
That's pretty minor.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Especially in a big game, all you're going to
Sure.
do is create problems because now you got to call all of those little taps.
Right.
A freaking game long.
You know, unless it was way after the whistle, and the whistle is? It's like right with the whistle, and it's legal. It's from the side, and it's not big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
no advantage. Just
So you think by
Was
this
it-
point he's already in the crease, and blue just kind of makes sure that he is in the
Making
crease.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There it is, full speed. Yeah. See, it's actually just a hair before the whistle, so I don't think I don't have a problem with that. This is going to be a quick one too, I believe. It's another Shreveport game. Yeah, this is just a vanilla. This is a crease violation where Glenn elected to let him play on because the goalie picked it up. The defense just picked it up and they went.
That's correct.
But
Ruling,
nobody would
rule
nobody
enforcement.
would fault you if you blew a pretty quick whistle and gave him that quick restart with the 5-yard business.
Right.
You know, I used to always teach when the guy goes in the crease, blow it dead. But this is an example where it made sense just to let it go because you might take away the advantage by blowing it dead.
And we're not restarting play. Blue is not restarting play with white still in the crease. He gets in,
Right.
he gets out. Blue gets the ball. Let's go.
Yep. Keeps the game moving.
Yeah. I think this one is from this year.
Get a headache.
I think
That's the restart inside the box, I think. Right? No?
no.
That was that was a different game.
I think that's Jay over there on the lead, and is that Jeremy Norick coming over?
I think
Jay?
so.
I think this is from maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But this is an
So
example.
I think this of the cylinder. So the question here is the player stick outside the cylinder? Does the ball go in first? We have contact with the goalie stick. So first question is, does it get in the ball in before there's contact? And then if he's outside the cylinder, you can have contact with that goalie stick on the shot. But it's so bang bang. I would.
But the striking thing to me on this one, Lux, is what
The
two
goalie.
does. He jumps up in the air. Look, he jumps and lands in the crease. No goal, no matter when it goes in.
I don't see him hit the crease.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to
think he
see.
did.
Yeah.
I think he did. Well, that's what they called.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Yeah, potentially that left foot's in. Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the call, that he jumped up and he landed in the crease. Jay, do you remember? Jay, you still with us?
That's a good call then.
Yeah, and the other good thing is, Jeremy is down on 5 yards above GLE, and he goes in, and they kind of got together.
Yep.
Notice that goalie rocking the cage before the guy comes and shoots.
Yeah,
We want to stop that. Don't let those guys do that.
Okay. Okay. I thought that was a good example. I think he does land in the crease, so that's a
Goes in
no
on
goal.
his own volition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
And it doesn't matter whether or not the ball crosses before or after
Right.
it goes into the goal. If he goes in on his own volition and lands in the crease, no goal.
Here's another one from St. Thomas More. And this is that same Catholic Eye game. Like I said, I think we had 5 of them that were now in this one, the ball doesn't go in. And I either rightly or wrongly called a push on 8.
I think I like the push there. He's gotten underneath of him, and he's pushing on his back enough to gain the advantage. I think. I don't.
But
see
again, we have a single side positioning problem on this one again too. I was down there by myself. It would have been good to have somebody on that side on the 5-yard line right behind those boys.
And I like the push better than the trip. So you got a 30-second versus a minute. But
It does look like he gets
right there. He's
pushed
beat.
just before the ball comes out.
It wasn't the world's biggest shove, but it was enough, I thought.
Yep.
I don't know. All right. We said we were going to do 10 videos, but actually I have 18. So we have 8 more to run through.
Oh my gosh.
Looks like we got players get tangled up. That football player number 20. No, I don't have any foul here except for a crease violation. White 22 going into the crease. Is that number?
Well,
is that his number,
Casey,
22?
if you're still on, put in the chat. I can't remember what we did here. I know Casey didn't throw a flag, but I think I had white in the crease, and I had my hand up for a crease violation. But Casey had a
push.
Yeah. I don't remember where the ball is. I can't tell if the ball's in that guy's stick. The resolution is not good enough to find the ball. But if we were going to call a push and the ball is in White's stick, then we're going to have a flag, and the pusher is going to go sit for 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
I'm sorry, 30 seconds.
Jeez.
But if the ball is loose, we're just going to give it to the offense. Yeah. So Casey.
So here's my thought on this one. He's beat. He's beat there, and that's why the push now becomes important as he's getting to the crease. He gains enough advantage after he's beat with the little push that taps him into the crease. It's just like that sideline tap.
Casey, do you remember, did the guy lose the ball and we just can't see it in the back of the net or something? Was the ball loose or was it – yeah. I think it was determined that it was loose at the time.
That makes it easier.
And the only thing we messed up on this one is we restarted back near the end line, but inside in the box, not out in the alley. That was an error we made, but it didn't have any effect on anything here.
Years of practice.
Boyd, this is the one. Boyd, this is the one at the very end of the game, maybe with just 3 or 4 seconds left, and it was 10-8. Catholic High was winning. And I heard the horn went off just seconds after this, and one of the Catholic High assistant coaches was yelling. We both called a crease violation. Mm-hmm. I was on the lead, and Boyd was on the single side. And as we're walking off, we heard, "How did he get there? How did he get in the crease?" Well,
he jumped.
And again, you can't see the crease line here. But the guy's toe, he was on the line before he got pushed. I mean, this was pretty bang, too. Not that it mattered a whole lot in this point of the game, but he actually had his right foot. I put an arrow on it. His right foot was on the crease line right before he got pushed. So the instant an offensive player touches the crease, the play is dead, and any technical stuff that happens after that is not going to be an issue unless it's a conduct foul. But a big illegal body check is going to be enforced, and it's going to be a penalty. You'll throw a flag on that, but you're not going to throw a flag on a loose ball push that occurs after a crease violation. I mean, clearly he did get shoved in the back at one point, but it was right after the dead ball. And Boyd, yeah, I think you're right. I remember it being about 4 seconds. All right. This is a good one from, I think, last year with better video up in Shreveport.
He just runs through it. He's not. He's just not aware of where he's at on the field.
The non-shooter's in the crease, right? Yeah, there it is.
There's a non-shooter. You're right. That pole that's running in there trying to be part of the play.
Yeah.
He steps in right there. He steps in right before the shooter comes, and the shooter he touches in. Plus, he leaves his feet and ends up with a glove, at least a glove on the line. So I think there are a couple of reasons why this is going to be no good. Let's see. Did the ball even go in?
I think so, because the guy's jumping for joy.
Oh yeah, right. But I think this was a good wave off because he leapt and he ended up in the crease. But even better than that, his long pole midi or whoever that is with the pole stepped in the crease just ahead of him. Another thing that can happen around the crease, we've looked at this one before. This is last year. This is Brother Martin Catholic High in Baton Rouge. And watch that pole. So the goalie's out of the crease for Catholic High, but watch that long pole. He gets up right in. He takes a stance right in front of the arc. Right. Now Sella is on the far side there, and I was the lead. I can't say that I was looking at the action up top. I wasn't looking at the goal. I was watching the shooter and the shot, and I didn't. When I looked, I didn't catch 17 touching the crease.
Yeah. I remember watching this one in an earlier web film study.
We did, right. But I think nobody would have faulted us at all if we would have
called it,
thrown a flag and blown a whistle and said that his heel was touching because it's a safety rule to keep the players from getting hit by a shot. But remember that rule that if the goalie's out, man, be looking for defensemen or defensive players getting in the crease to stop a shot. And whether or not this fellow was actually touching the crease, I think we probably should have erred on the side of safety and called that.
I had it happen this year, and it took me about 5 or 6 seconds to realize it.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all that often, but this is Catholic High Brother Martin in New Orleans. And let's see what happens here. Oh, yeah, okay.
This is one thing that we get a lot of issues with, players cranking up and shooting. And, sometimes it's so bang with the whistle that coach is always like, that's a delay of game. Look at him, he's shooting the ball after the whistle. And we can't be too good on that. Now, yeah, granted, we do want to stop that from happening if we can catch it. I think it would have to be very, very late to make that kind of call. Other than that, if you blow a whistle and the guy's already he's winding up to crank it, it's kind of hard to penalize a kid for that.
Okay.
That's pretty close.
That's pretty close. Yeah, when the sound's on,
I would not penalize that kid, number 22, for shooting that ball. But it would be a good idea to do some preventive officiating right there and be like, "Hey, look, 22, you got to be cognizant of whistle and just let's try next time not to make that shot when you hear that whistle." Because if he's thinking about it, he may, pull back. But these kids, they're not thinking about the whistle much, until we really get their attention. That's why we have that whistle terminology that we use and those quick tweets. We're trying to get people's attention, I
think that's Caleb Terry doing some yoga.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, this is the one we talked about earlier too. We had a flag on the play for um, what was believed to be offsides. Um, we did a little bit more concerning ourselves with the flag than getting ourselves down to officiate the play. We got the lead official who's trying to cover everything on his own. Uh, one thing we need to watch out for here is where is the ball when he goes into the crease, because we have a grounded player and we have a push from behind. Okay. So in this case right here, the only way that this would be a goal is good is if the ball crosses the goal line before he lands in the crease, even though he was illegally pushed. Okay, so our lead official does a good job by throwing the flag, but I need my single sign official in here to discuss
Yep.
where was the player when the ball crossed the goal line, because our lead official can't watch everything, and he does a good job of trying to catch everything. But if you look at it in slow motion, you can see the net um, move when the ball hits it, and it's just before the player goes into the crease. So, we got some officials here that are displaying some good eyes on these crease plays here.
yeah, the net bottom left, you can see it jiggle a little bit.
So when I'm throwing that flag, okay, so this is
Boom.
one other thing that I tell officials during my pregame. If we have a ball in the goal and a player in the crease, we do not need to be making any type of hand signals until we discuss it with the partner official. If you have to throw the flag, throw the flag. But whether or not we come up with the goal is good or waving off the goal, let's at least have a word with our partner official. Even though our partner official is out of position, let's give it a little chat. Okay. So again, if the ball's in the goal and the player's in the crease, we need to talk before we make any signals, whether we wave off a goal or give a goal.
And we have 17 and 18.
Red leaves on his own volition. Good
Yep.
defense. That's actually the player that broke his femur, who's playing defense right there. Number 17.
17, that's right. That's him.
Red goes into the crease on his own volition. Looks like the ball goes into the goal. No goal. Make it big, especially this weekend, guys. And from this point on to the end of the season, these type of plays come in big, come in quick, come in big. Everybody should know exactly what's going on.
All right, two more.
Make it big.
Oh, we talked about this one ad nauseum. Another something that can happen around the crease. This was in our last video,
Oh yeah.
our last meeting. I'll probably never see it again, but this is the old stick in the crease play. Distract him. It's like a magician. Misdirection, throw your stick in the crease, get him to bend over, and then bang it in.
Yeah.
So, Dustin, remind everybody of what the rule is for this.
Okay, so if a cross lands in the crease and distracts the goalie, then if a goal is scored, we wave this goal off.
Yep.
Well, it's immediate whistle, yeah.
It's an immediate whistle.
If it distracts him or interferes with him in any way.
And we award the ball to the defensive team.
Yeah. And Rob pointed out last time that the red player somehow loses his stick in a funny way. He's trying to pass or shoot or something. It slips out of his hands. And then as he's trying to back away, he does make a little bit of contact with 24. 24 is going to play him. And so Rob made a good point that he's actually participating in play because he drew the attention of number 24. So that was another reason to blow the whistle on that particular play. All right. And this is going to be the last one. This one is one that I actually made the call, and I called this a blind hog call. The coach was wondering why that wasn't a good goal. Boyd, I think you were on that game. This was a fast break, and I ran down there as fast as I could to get there. But look at this feed. The guy. So Boyd is not on the 5-yard line helping me like he should have been. So demerits to Boyd, but this is right towards the end of the game. But it was a fast break, and it was a quick transition. And I was probably hanging back on the 30, on this 30, so I could get in position. But
Boyd was talking to the ball guy with the bag.
So I think there are two reasons why I waved this off. I only remember thinking I saw one of them was that the white player's toe touched the crease. And again, you can't see the crease lines on this video. Before the ball went in, the ball is kind of it's a bounce shot. He's real close, but he makes a bad shot because he throws it down on the ground and it bounces up into the back of the net. See the bounce shot, and his foot's in the crease there. So his foot touched the line before the ball crossed the goal line. And some part of my brain either saw that or it was just a 50-50 call and I had to make one. But then Boyd pointed out that he thought the guy leapt up, and he did. He jumped up to catch the pass. And when he came down, he ended up in the crease. So there were probably two reasons why that one is a no goal. And that
being that you're saying that, let's talk about that, Bill. If a player if he leaps straight up in the air to receive a pass and he comes down, to me,
straight up in the air would imply that he was standing in the crease when he jumped up. So if he jumps up, not particularly straight up, and lands in the crease when he comes down, I don't know. I don't think the rule book addresses it. They talk about he leaves on his own volition.
If you jump up and catch the pass and immediately pass the ball and it goes into the goal, and you come down in the crease after the ball has gone in, I remember that being a good goal.
Dustin,
that is, yes.
Dustin, stop. So that was a couple of years ago. I don't see that in the book anymore. Once we started, stopping all the, anytime the guy lands in the crease after the fact.
Was that an old NCAA rule or something?
Yeah, I think it might have been, but it could have been even NFHS. It talks about an athletic play. It was NCAA, an athletic play where that would be good. But none of that is in the book anymore. So I think if a guy leaves the field of his own volition.
Okay, I stand corrected. That's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. We used to talk about that, but I think that was the NCAA rule book.
We had to determine whether if he was on his own volition, diving or jumping, or if he was just going straight up to receive a pass. Yeah, got it.
Hang on, I'm pulling up the. Here we go. Here's the rule right here. This is Rule 4, Section 9, and if an attacking player in possession of the ball and outside the crease area dives or jumps, becomes airborne of his own volition prior to, during, or after the release of the shot, and lands in the crease, the goal shall be disallowed. This young man left his feet prior to the release of the shot, and he landed in the crease. So that's the language for high school anyway. I can't tell you what the NCAA language is currently. So I think we have
fair enough.
I think this would not be allowed. Now, if he jumped up and landed outside the crease and then stepped in, but I think he's, again, the bad part about that video is that you can't see the crease line, which kind of messes it up. All right, that is all we have. Does anybody have any questions? Anything else?
Let's just make sure, and I know we do a good job of this anyway. Let's match this weekend. Whatever the referee decides that we're going to wear for that particular game, all three officials I want wearing the same thing. I don't see any reason why we have to wear anything besides shorts and short sleeves. But, if Lux gets cold and Lux wants to put on his long sleeve shirt, you know what? Crew, follow what your R wants to do and put on the long sleeve shirt. So make sure that you have all of your gear with you. Make sure you have both your long and short sleeve shirt. And you know what? Just for the sake of it, just have everything you need, shorts and pants, whatever the case may be. Okay. So, you know, extra flags, you need extra whistle, batteries for your timer. Um, just make sure we have all of our gear. Make sure you have the tools to do the job. Don't
Boyd's
forget it.
asking about having us all do the face-off in a consistent fashion. I know my last, at least for sure, the last half of the season, I've been doing it like our little policy thing for this year did, where the face-off official is straddling the midline, looking down the sticks, and the helper is looking down the neutral zone. And the first thing that occurs after down is the helper lines up, he cleans up the neutral zone, and then lets me know that we're good. That's perfect. And then the face-off official straddling the midline makes any corrections he needs to, and then proceeds with the face-off. And talking about at this point with the vaccinations and whatnot, how big of a deal would it be if we did a lineup before these big games?
I'm okay with that. As a matter of fact, I haven't even been wearing my mask like we probably should be, but nonetheless, I think we should probably just go with the lineups, go back to how we used to do things.
What's going on around the country in college games? Does anybody know?
No lineups. I just did a conference championship. No lineups.
Still not doing them?
I mean, ultimately, it's up to the teams to decide how they want to run things, right?
Well, I would
I
say
personally don't have any medical concerns. I've been fully vaccinated and we're outside. I'm not concerned about it.
Can you talk to Dave Gold and just say, hey, this is what we're thinking. It's a great opportunity for they've earned this far. This is what we think. We're fine.
Yeah.
And then go with it. That way we don't end up having parents freaking out. We're not doing it different game to game.
It would look better. It adds to the pageantry of it. Rob, if you're still on, what do you think, Rob?
You're an old guy.
They're still doing things. They're still playing their regular season in Vermont. Or
No,
they
I
just
know.
started.
Yeah, but they're and up north, most of the leagues are requiring the official to keep the mask on all the time.
Rob, if you're still there, type in there what's going on up in Vermont in the high school league.
While waiting for that, talking about the face-off, the way that we used to work things is that the lead official or the single side official, who was the primary face-off, would conduct it from either looking directly through the neutral zone perpendicularly or at a 45-degree angle, whatever he may. I say, if that's the mechanic that we want to go by, as long as everybody's going to follow the same mechanics, we can go back to Lux.
So, again, I'm kind of ambivalent. Other than the fact we've been doing it that way all year, the teams have been used to it that way all year.
Yeah.
I say we stick with the down the line. NCAA went off of that after about 2 to 3 weeks, but I've been doing it all year. So I say,
yeah, I've been doing it that way too. So.
Yeah, and Rob says no lineups also, and
they're not doing them up there.
I had a game canceled for right before the playoffs in the same conference for a team popping positive down here in the South near Atlanta. So it still exists. I think we just we ride it out. It's not the time to make any huge changes. Maybe championship day, who knows? You can have a conversation, but I think stick with what we've been doing, what's been working, and we'll be fine.
So are we at an agreement? Are we coming to an agreement that we will not do lineups?
That's what my recommendation is.
No lineups?
No lineups.
Well, this
We've
is
been
why we need
doing
to make
that.
this discussion before we get off this call so everybody knows what we're doing
Yeah,
going into
No,
these
we've been
no.
playoff
doing that
games.
all year. Nothing amazing has changed since our last month's worth of games. I mean, things are looking good, but we haven't been doing the lineups all year. As much as I'd like to do them, probably just looks best if we just keep doing what we've done all year. As much as I think it would add to the pageantry and whatnot. If there's other places that we're hearing from Vermont, we're hearing from Lux, wherever he was, and that, as far as we know, in our anecdotal investigation, nobody else is doing lineups. Now, what they're doing in Texas, I don't know, but
They are doing, calling out the starters and things like that. So there's no reason they can't do that, either to walk them onto the field or before the national anthem. And, but
yeah, you're talking about announcing the players.
yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about
But
the lineup at the to start the game.
no, yeah, I
I
think
would say it's probably better part of valor is just to keep doing what we've done all year.
No lineups.
Now,
Guys, if y'all
if the league
still on.
came to me and said we really, 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 really want to do lineups,
no
I
problem.
mean, we took the lead of. Yeah,
Right.
Rob, I agree with that.
Me too.
We didn't reinvent the wheel here. This policy that we came up with came from Texas, or it came from some other. Rob, you got a hold of it. Lux got a hold of it, and it's kind of semi-adopted nationwide-ish kind of sort of.
Yep.
And until somebody in a higher up national thing says that lacrosse is now different, we're going to now do lineups and have all of the captains flip the coin and all the rest. We probably just stick with it and not be the trendsetter here in Louisiana.
Right.
What about wearing masks?
I think we still have them when you talk to the coach. Yep.
If we have to get up close with somebody, we should probably
Put them. Yeah.
Okay, so bring your mask. Black mask.
Yeah, bring them. Yeah, bring them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you can't wear masks, and we've been doing it all season again. And I just did a college game where I was probably the weakest on the mask. Every time a goal was scored, they had the mask up, and all the way up into the face-off where they would pull it down, put the whistle in.
Where were you? Where was that?
That was in Alabama, and they don't have their mandate either. So I think we just, like Rob said, let's not do anything that would cause a problem here towards the end of the season.
I have to agree.
We get out of it, we move on next year. Hopefully things are better.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Thank you for your work this year. Thank you for your attendance tonight. And I'll see some of y'all next Saturday. Otherwise, I'll hope to see a bunch of y'all on Sunday, May the 23rd in Madisonville on the, what is it, the Bogachita? What river is that over there? The Chafuncta?
Yeah, the Boga.
It's a state park on the Chafuncta. Yeah. All right.
If
Good
anybody
night.
has any issues with getting to their games on time, do not wait till the last minute to call me and let me know. Please do a good job of getting to your games
Early.
and especially be cognizant of the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge, that there's always some BS that happens on that bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know there aren't very many alternate routes to get to Lafayette, but they do exist. And so, anybody who's doing their traveling, just be mindful of that and do your best to get to your games on time. If you're going to be late, I want to know about it.
Since most of the officials are on the call, not all of them, but a lot of them, Dustin, what do you recommend for meeting before? Like if you have
I
a
don't
one
think we need
o'clock
to do
game.
anything drastic. I like to, if you got a 1 o'clock game, okay, I say at least be on the site for 12, no later than 12.
Okay.
You know,
All right. Okay. But that's still up to the individual R on
yeah,
that game, huh? Yeah.
ours communicate, ours communicate with your crew.
All right.
You should be there at least an hour before game time. You should be on the site at least an hour before game time.
All righty. I'm signing off. Good night.